All right, everybody, welcome to the Piggyback Blogs webinar. And what we're going to be covering today is we're going to go back to the basics. So if you've been watching any of our previous webinars, this is the most basic of them all. We've been doing a lot of advanced stuff with plugins and how to create different pages and forms and all that kind of stuff, but this is back to the basics of how to create a blog post, how to create a page, things like that, even how to log in. So every person that's in here has either gotten an email from me before that includes your username and your password and where you should go to log in. If you have not received that email from me, then that probably means that your Piggyback blog is not properly set up to your domain yet, which means that whenever you go to your blog URL, you'll usually see a bit of text at the top that will say you must refresh your template in order to blah, blah, blah. So if you haven't done so yet, I do need your Keller Williams logins and your domain logins and to properly set everything up so that you can start earning search engine optimization through your Piggyback blog, which is the sole purpose of having a blog, so you can regularly add content by way of blogging and keeping your site up to date so that search engines are happy about what you've got and you've got content for them to recommend. Okay, so let's get down to it. If you're going to log into your Piggyback blog, there's numerous ways that you can do so. First and foremost, you're always able to log in through piggybackblogs.com. At the top of the screen, there's a button that says Login. And once you get to that page, there's a login section right here. And you're going to use your username and your password that has been provided to you either from your original sales purchase, you've got an email from our system, or the email that I've sent you that includes your username, your password, and the URL in which you can also log in at other than just by clicking on login through piggybackblogs.com. If you have had your website hooked up, then your domain address is probably something like blog.yourdomain.com, or some of the newer sites will be like www.domain.com. Some are still using one or the other. If you have that option, any of those URLs, if you can do a /wp-admin afterwards, that stands for WordPress admin, that means you're going to go in and log in. And that will also take you to the login screen, which I'm already logged in, so it's not going to show it to me again. Okay, so once you get logged in, quick question, is anyone able to actually see my screen already? Nope. Now you can. Sorry about that. All right, so Piggyback Blogs, what I just went over, piggybackblogs.com. There's a login button at the top. And that takes you to your username and your password input area, and you can click login there. You also have the option at the end of your URL, if you have clicked on blog in your menu or anything like that, you can do a /wp-admin. And that means WordPress administration, so that you're able to log in and get to a thing called your dashboard. So once you've logged into your Piggyback blog, this is where what you're going to see. Now there's a new area that we have worked on to make things a little bit easier for some of the people that are new to blogging or WordPress all in general, make it easier and easier. All this red area is your menu. If you click down here in this area that says default at the bottom of your menu, you can switch that over to a new area called basic. Ta-da! It's a little bit easier to see everything that's going on there, and it's a little simplified. Well, a lot simplified actually. So if you go to posts, this is where you're going to create any blog post that will show up on your blog page. If you go to pages, this is where you're going to create something like an extra page to your site that wouldn't be something that you would be considering as a dated piece of information. Okay, and those are the two most important things about this whole blog ordeal. Okay, and I will be getting to these emails and these questions that I'm getting, um, but just let me get through what I've got to instruct on, and then I'll get to the questions, okay? All right, so on your dashboard, there's a lot of different extra little pieces of information that you can get inside here. At a glance, it's going to tell you how many pages and posts that you have currently, like, put out. Then you can find them also by clicking on pages or posts. You can also click on them through the At a Glance section that you see there. Now, the site stats, that's there because of a plugin that we'll talk about later on. I believe it's like 1 or 2 webinars from now, not to be concerned with right now. Activity will show you all their posts that have recently been published in order and what date that you did it in if you want to make sure that something went out on time. There's a Yoast SEO post overview area, and we'll go over that in a upcoming webinar as well. So don't be concerned about this at the moment either. So then the 2 pieces that I want you to be sure that you see is the area that says change up your e-agency website, refresh your blog here. And the other one is the tutorials just for you. Now, if you have received an email from me with your username and your password and your login and all that helpful stuff, since I've set up your Piggyback blog, now these tutorials are also kind of included in that. There's a large playlist that has 10 videos in it, and it's linked up here just so you don't have to go straight to WordPress, straight to YouTube in order to be able to watch them. First one, most helpful, it says your first post on Piggyback blogs. This will show you how to do what we're going to be talking about today. So if you get confused on how to do it, this is a great resource to go back to, or this webinar that we're doing right now is also being recorded for you to be able to watch later. So the other one over here, if you have changed anything on your e-agency website and you've noticed that your menu or something like that doesn't look quite the same whenever you go from an e-agency website page to a Piggyback blog page, most likely you're going to just have to go in here and click this button that says refresh. And that's going to bring everything back over again so everything looks cohesive and it's all one website to your readers again. All right, so let's get to the main point of this, which is to create blog posts to add content to your site on a regular basis. And we're going to do that with the post area. So you can either click on the post icon or click all posts or click on add new. They give you a lot of different opportunities to get to the same place. So inside here, there's a button to click add new for a new post, or you can click it from the menu to the side. If you have created a blog post or someone else has done this for you, you'll see the list of them all located under all posts. You'll see them by date. You can change the way this is viewed in different times, but most of the time this is the default layout. All right, so if we're going to go create a new blog post, we're going to click Add New. And from there, we're going to be asked to input a title, and there's a large area here for our content. Now, a lot of people, whenever they log in for the first time, they're only seeing one toolbar. Now, there's more here, and we call it the kitchen sink. So you click the toolbar toggle, which is right beside the WolfNet WordPress plugin Paul print, and it will open up and have some more controls for your text. So if we're going to write a blog post about something specific, which I always recommend that you have a focus to your blog post and a focus to your blog and your website overall. So let's say that I'm writing a blog post about Avalon Park here in Orlando, and I want to discuss this weekend they're going to be having an Oktoberfest. So let's just title it Oktoberfest coming to Avalon Park. So it has a bunch of keywords in my title. It's talking about Avalon Park, and it's talking about Oktoberfest. So obviously, whenever I'm writing my blog post, I'm going to include those words and talk about it so that if someone inside of Google is going to be looking for information on the Oktoberfest that's coming up at Avalon Park, I could become a resource for that information, and Google would recommend me. Now, is that always going to happen? No. Is it a potential? Yes, but you have to put in the work in order to be there. So let's say like the Orlando German Society is holding an Oktoberfest in Avalon Park this coming weekend on October, what is this weekend? It is the 10th and 11th. Now, obviously, I would write a lot more than this, but I don't want y'all to have to sit through me trying to write a blog post because I'm not the best at it. But I know how to write them. It's never easy to just sit and write sometimes, and time will fly by, but it takes time to get used to even doing it all together. But like, just know that even someone like me that's trying to show you how to do this, it's it's not like it comes naturally to write this much. It's just you're the wealth of knowledge for your area, and I'm not. So I'm not able to just easily come out and talk about Oktoberfest because I don't know a lot about it. So essentially, this is what you're going to be doing, though. You're going to be adding your content. It's going to have a basis from your title. Always try to accompany any of your blog posts with with photos because everybody likes seeing things as well as while they're reading. So if I'm going to add media, if I want to add a photo, I would click Add Media. If I have photos already, it's a possibility that it's going to open up in my media library and list all of it. If I'm going to need to upload, then it will be under Upload Files, and I click the Select Files button. And this will allow me to look in my computer and grab another photo. It uploads, and then I have options to the side over here. If I want to add a caption to this photo, this will be content or little strips of text that will show up underneath the photo, kind of like, hey, this is what this is. Later on, when you start playing around with the SEO side of things, it's going to start mentioning a section called the alt text, and this is how you access it and change it. But right now, the most important thing is getting alignment and figuring out what size you want photos and such. So alignment means where you want the image to sit. And it's usually going to ask if you want it to be left, right, or center. I usually try to stay away from none for some reason because I don't really quite understand it half the time. But left, obviously, that photo is going to sit to the left and the text is going to sit to the right of it. If you do center, your photo is going to sit in the center of your blog post and your text is going to be above it and below it. If you do your photo to the right, your text is going to sit to the left of it. So left and right will allow your text to be able to wrap around your photo. So let's just go ahead and click left. And if I want it to appear in the medium size, which is kind of my go-to, then I'm able to select that. But you have the option of going to thumbnail or large or full size. Full size usually won't fit on most websites, depending on the size of the photo that you upload, obviously, for full size. But let's just do medium for now, and then we click the button that says Insert into Post. And that's going to sit it here, and your text is to the right. Now, it looks like my text is really, really close to that photo right now, but if we preview or if we go ahead and publish this post, it gives it its space that it needs. So don't worry about that. This really just a preview of your actual post, not always what it's going to look like whenever you've taken it live. So if we wanted to add in headers or things that are more important to this blog post, like German potato pancakes will be available. And then I'm adding more content underneath it. And I want people to really pay attention to the fact that German potato pancakes are going to be at this Oktoberfest is going to happen in Avalon Park. Then I can change that into like a different kind of header. And I would do so by highlighting the text that I want to bring attention to, and then going over to this kitchen sink and selecting one of the other headers. So I'm going to use header 3. So as you can see, it bolded it and it made the actual font larger. So if someone's reading this blog post, they're going to be, whoa, potato pancakes, that's awesome. Um, there's a lot of other things that you can do inside here. You can change color, you can change things like that. Let's see, what else? Categories. Categories are very important if you are trying to make your blog posts easily sortable. So if you write about, let's say, a handful of separate communities on a regular basis, let's say Avalon Park, Union Park, Baldwin Park, and Lake Eola for Orlando. So that's 4. But there's different events that go on there all the time, but somebody may just be interested in my Lake Eola events. So they'd be able to just click on the categories to the side and go straight to all my blog posts that had something to do with Lake Eola. So I have that already kind of demonstrated with Baldwin Park here. So let's go ahead and add a new category because this is my first time talking about Avalon Park. So add new category, Avalon Park, and add the category. So if I've clicked it over to the side here, that means that it will be added to that category. If I save this draft, we're going to see this URL change here as well. So save the draft. And now the URL goes Tracy Adams, piggybackblogs.com, which will obviously be whatever your URL is for your blog, then the category name, and then the title of our blog post. So there's a lot of buzzwords in there, and that helps out with our SEO. And it helps our readers later on find our blog posts that may appeal to them more. So if we view this blog post, let's go ahead and take a look. See our photo to the side here, and we've got the space like I told you you would. You have your header 3. Obviously, it's more apparent that it's emphasized than the rest of the content is, which is our paragraph content. So far, so good. Obviously, we would need to write a lot more content for this to be finished. Not a lot. I do recommend that most blog posts that you try to get around 300 words. And lucky for you, WordPress has allowed you to see your word count as you work. So I love paying attention to that word count because once I hit that 300, then I'm like, all right, how much more do I got before I continue on? Those are the most important key pieces that I'd say when creating a blog post. Aside from that, there are pages. Now, when you create a page, they look just like when you create a post, but they function differently. So if we go into this about the team page that I've created, you'll see that it's just like the other one was. You have your title and you have your big area where you can add in your content. So no different, except for there are no categories in here. Because we don't want pages to be sortable like posts because posts are dated and quick sources of information. Our pages are more of our long-term, like things aren't going to change on this. Like this is our team, this is our contact us page, this is our community pages, stuff like that. So that's your differentiation between a post. Posts are dated and quick info, and pages are your long-term, like this is important and needs to be available at all times, and it's not going to change that often. So those are differences between the two. Now, pages are added a different way depending on how your refresher is built. If you are wanting to add a page to your menu for your website. Now, I do have a blog post, a webinar coming up later on again that will cover specifically that kind of information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor for questions, and hopefully we'll get into some additional information that I didn't cover as far as when it comes to the basic how to create a blog post or how to create a blog page. All right, so I'm just going to continue talking, and hopefully you're writing your questions. Let's just go over one more thing. The WolfNet WordPress plugin is a highly used plugin within our Piggyback Blog network. And in order to be able to utilize this, you do need a product key from WolfNet. This product key is provided to them once you have purchased your plugin, and they have set it up to where you can access it. You usually get this product key by way of email, or they'll go in there and put it in for you and send you an email with it for your information so you can save it later. If you have one, this is where it goes under WolfNet General Settings. And if it's good to go, usually you will see a green check mark. If you want to create searches and have them included on any of your pages or posts, you can do so by clicking on Search Manager under WolfNet. And you can create your search just like you do with any of your regular MLS options. So if I wanted to just find condos within no minimum up to 500,000, looks like I have 848 matches. Maybe I want to make this a little bit more of a specific search, so we're going to say that condos with fireplaces and a pool. Well, there's none. With a fireplace and a family room. There's 52. All right, so that's a pretty small subsection for a search. If I wanted to save it, let's say it's condos with fireplaces and family rooms less than 500K. And then I click save, and that adds it to my list of saved searches so that I'm able to easily input this later on. So if I wanted to say that let's do a page. Create a page that says amazing fireplace homes or condos with family rooms available. I would add in some information, I'd talk about it, I'd add in some photos. And I would also add in our search. And I would do that by clicking the paw print. That is the WolfNet shortcode builder. And you have a couple of options inside here, but I'm going to utilize the listing grid. And what that listing grid will do is it'll allow for little photos to show up, and it'll show it in a grid form rather than in a list form. So I'll show you the differences between all of them. But if we wanted to pull out that specific search we just made, we click it under Save Search, and we click Insert. And this puts this code in here, and that code allows for something to happen once people are able to view that page. So I've clicked Publish over here to the side, the blue button, and I'm going to go view the page now. So this is my page that has homes with fireplaces and family rooms. Well, condos, actually. So these are my 52 options that people can decide that they want to purchase. If we were going to do this in another form and we wanted to show it as a property list or as nope, that's all of them. We wanted to update this and show the two differences between the two different kinds of lists that you can use with your WolfNet plugin. This is the property grid, and this is your property list. So those are really awesome because they'll utilize your website for those listings, meaning that each and every single one of those property listings is another page on your website, which is what you're wanting. You're wanting to build out your website so that there are more pages on it, and each of those pages will include content. And that content is what Google cares about going through and seeing that you have so that they can recommend you in the future. And the more content, the better off you are. especially if it's focused content on like a specific neighborhood or the things that are going on in that neighborhood. Your website and your blog does not have to be real estate specific. It can be um, it, be all encompassing about the things that you want to be found about. If you want to be found for Avalon Park, write about all the stuff that's going on in Avalon Park, aside from the fact that these are cool houses that are available here as well. Or if you live in Avalon Park, this handyman is really great. You should use him. Things like that. Use your blog as your platform to share your information that you would normally share to your clients over the phone or by email. So do we have any questions? Hopefully everybody's been able to hear me. Okay, well, I am going to go ahead and conclude the webinar at this point for today. If you have any additional questions, I am always reachable by email, and my email address is Tracy, Tracy, at brandco.com. You can also schedule a one-on-one call with me by going to calendly.com/bco_Tracy. All of these webinars are made available through our YouTube channel. They're all in a playlist called Previous Webinars. So if you've received an email from me at any time announcing our webinars, then there is a link at the top of the screen that will take you directly to them. All of our tutorials that are also shown on your dashboard are available as well in a playlist on our YouTube channel as well. And that YouTube channel is www.youtube.com/hellobrandco. So hopefully you found this helpful, or maybe it was a little bit too basic for you, and I'll see you in the upcoming webinars where we get a little bit more advanced in learning a little bit more here and there about the plugins that are available, the SEO Yoast plugin that helps out with your meta descriptions and all that other kind of fun stuff when it comes to getting ranked or indexed inside of Google. Um, you know, uh, there's just so many little things, but this like I said is a basic webinar, and I want to start at the basics so that some people can catch up with how the other webinars have been going. So please, if you have any questions and you didn't feel comfortable asking them here, please email me, call me, and I'm definitely here to help you. All right? Well, thanks, everybody.